Our journey begins. It is day 136, October 14, 2024. And unfortunately, I just recorded all of this already, but it got lost in the wind. So, due to the recording setup, so I'm just going to talk about it again. But essentially, I've been talking about principles of self-organizing concepts in relation to language. A lot of languages already are self-organizing in the sense that, like, the grammar rules, the syntax, all of that, and a lot of times root words can create a self-organizing language. But uh, as far as I know, a lot of times it doesn't go all the way down to the root phonemes or the phonemes rather, or like each individual sound of each individual letter. And I think it's probably because it just wasn't thought through in that respect, and no one thought it would be even possible. And obviously, it's not possible to say, okay, you're going to have 35 distinct sounds, and from that, you're going to be able to create any unique word that's going to somehow be a combination of what those 35 unique sounds represent. That's probably not going to work out. But I do think the way I'm thinking through it, it could work out. And I'm just thinking that a lot of times self-organizing principles are so valuable in any context, and creating a language where you have a deeper layer of self-organization is going to allow for more usability of this language to be used in different ways for a lot more of that functionality of getting just a lot more of the things that I'd like to accomplish with this language accomplished. So here's basically a rough breakdown of how I'm planning on doing things. So the objective of the self-organization of the language is where the language structure, the words, the meanings, the grammar, evolves and organizes itself based on a set of core principles, which is, again, a lot like typical language, allowing for the adaptive and dynamic language creation and interpretation. Constructed in a modular fashion to help simplify language learning with the ability to adapt over time. And again, yeah, if I didn't explain this already, a lot of language already has this element of self-organization. You have these rules that you can create infinite set of possibilities of what you're trying to express. But some of these rules are like really big, and you don't have this granular feeling of being able to really create any expression without it getting complicated. Sort of the efficiency of the granularity of what you're trying to express goes down because the self-organizing principles aren't at a base level enough. So it would come down to sounds, the phonemes, the morphemes, the syntax structure, the predictability of the language, the efficient evolution, the redundancy elimination, the dynamic adaptability. So basically, the methodology is it's built by a system of sound units, phonemes, that follow phonotactic rules for combination and produce meaning based on context and pattern recognition. I wouldn't say that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Basically, the first syllable of a word will be a combination of a certain set of letters. Each letter, there will be about 35 or 40 letters which are all sounds that are distinct, easy to interpret, that each carry a sentiment, where we've divided the sum total of all possible meaning into 35 rough sentiments, where each sentiment sort of gets a good chunk of the pie in terms of meaning and language and objects and that sort of thing. And then you have to think about how vowels and consonants work as well, because a lot of times you're because of the syllable creation rules, you're going to have words that have consonants and vowels. So there's not complete there's not complete order. Like, you can't just have three consonants to create a syllable that resembles what you're trying to say exactly. So the first syllable is also, each one syllable is either a suffix, prefix, affix of some kind, but it's also a unique word, which then combines with a second syllable. And the second syllable does not carry any distinct meaning, so it's the combination of the first syllable, which if you were to take out the first syllable, has its own meaning, but it's the combination that creates its own unique word. Because otherwise, you're going to get into rules of compounding, and you're going to get situations like in German or in Finnish, where you have these really long words because in order to get what you're trying to say across, you got to combine all these little root pieces. Whereas if you say, well, like the second syllable, you're going to be able to somewhat understand what in general it means because of the sentiments of the letters and because of what those letters have been used before. So in general, you're going to kind of be able to understand that. But then there is going to be some memorization involved, and then you can go up to 3-syllable words. So although it's not possible necessarily to have a completely self-organizing language, like you're going to need to memorize not only the rules, but a lot of the core root syllables and a lot of the core 2-syllable and 3-syllable words. But there is going to be an allowance for compounding via the use of affixes. So like that's going to right there make it really easy to just compound syllables where it is possible to just simply compound it because it is something. But where you want the ability to have really unique different words, you can't just say, if you combine all the parts in a certain way, it's going to create that unique word. You can do that. It's just going to create too long of words. Anyway, so then I also think that self-organization could come into play in the idea of sharing mental models. I think that's going to be one aspect. If we can have a core set of mental models, which you can share. When you start a conversation, you share the mental model that you're using. And these are like common mental models that most people would understand. Then your brain can assemble what the following words that are given to you into this mental model, self-organize them into that mental model. And because of the way the mental model is structured, you don't have to give all of the context between everything. It's already known. It's self-organizing because of the structure, the rules of that mental model. So, yeah, I just think there's a lot of power in self-organizing languages. And if you have any thoughts about this, please let me know. I didn't go into too detail. I just wanted to sort of break this down and summarize it again. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.